What's up? I won't tell. We didn't catch the eyebrow lick. What's up? What's up? What's up,
What's
cuz?
up, cousin? And we're
Oh,
back.
and we're back. It's been a little bit. Last time we were together was before the election. Although I was on the station one morning since then. So there's a lot to talk about. Certainly won't belabor that too much because it's not necessarily news now.
No.
But the impact is starting to become news. So, that'll certainly be something we get into in some capacity. But what's up with you, cuz?
Man, I'm chilling. I'm feeling good. We run a little behind. That's on me. But nah, man, life is getting better. Life is good.
No doubt, no
Yeah.
doubt. Coming
How
in
you
looking like Chuck D. Taking this one W. Beast.
That's how I've been feeling, if we want to be honest. But
I
yeah.
understand. I
How you
understand.
doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Everything is kind of going smooth for me right now.
Mm,
Like everything is in a really good place. I spoke to some young men who play football for a classical high school in
mhm.
Providence, Rhode Island. And then they went out and like blew this team out 56-22 or something
Nah,
like
don't
that.
just say this team. Don't just say this
So,
team. What was
so
the name of the team?
would they be Rogers? They beat
Rogers.
Rogers. So
That's
yeah,
personal.
they went out there and did their thing.
It's
So
very
very proud
personal.
of those young guys. So otherwise, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Real quick question. How has the turnout of the election affected you personally?
The ooh. There are certainly some people there are a couple people that I unfriended.
Really?
There are a couple people, and like for me, it was I had put a comment in the morning, saying like, people will reveal themselves today, and
Mm,
it might seem superficial to some to go out and unfriend somebody over a Facebook post, but um, the reality is that it mattered enough for me that I talked about the rights that would be taken away, and I talked about the potential impact and what have you. And so for you to ignore that and kind of just like feel like not only did you vote for him, because voting for him didn't matter, that wasn't the part that bothered me, that you like went and bragged about it after the fact, like you actually went out and did like you did something.
you repeat that rhetoric.
Yeah,
All of that
and so you
rhetoric.
really believe it. You didn't
Hmm.
just vote for a financial interest or because like whatever reason. You actually like made it more known like, yes, we won, we're taking our country back. And that's
Yeah.
why I didn't really love it.
The two words that come to me, I just personal accountability. It's like I need to take care of home, which is me, um, and just get me fine tuned and do the best I can with whatever is to come.
Yeah.
And make no mistake, people, there is stuff to come,
Yeah.
and it's gonna get real, and it's gonna get real, real fast.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, and I think, and it's funny because those people that are bragging saying we took our country back, it's funny because they're the ones who are going to be the most surprised.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are going to
Yeah.
be the most shocked. It's
Yeah.
not everyone that didn't vote for him; it's
Yeah.
everyone that did.
Me and my man back there were just there was actually somebody behind this green screen for those watching. And we were talking about some of that because like there's a certain safety. You live in Massachusetts, you have, some of these ignorant views, you want some of this wildness. Like you're protected by a relatively liberal state. You're protected from your views, from doing ignorant stuff, or from from you can just say what you want to say and there's really no impact. But like this is going to impact people. And
Yeah,
like even the Republican Party they're already starting to recognize the impact that's happening.
yeah.
Like he told you, I am going to do whatever the F I want when I get there. And people were like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
talking. He
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
really
yeah.
mean that.
He's gonna
He's
say
just
this. Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah.
that.
And he's like, I am going to do whatever I want when I get there. And they're
Yeah,
like, no, yeah, okay. He's just saying that to win because it
yeah.
feeds his
He's
army.
just talking.
And
You
now
know he
he's
can't.
there and he's like,
And
I'm
he's
gonna
throwing it.
put some of the most ridiculous people you could have ever imagined in some of the most powerful positions in this country. And it's like, wait a minute, what? and then all the people of color who supported them got left out.
Left
Then
out.
Carson, Herschel Walker, Candace Owen, and so on. Y'all are
Nikki
nowhere to
Haley.
be found. He used you.
Nikki Haley,
He used you,
like a toy.
and here you are.
Yeah.
So, that's wild to think about.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, yeah. Um, sorry. Just dealing with I was just checking to make sure, just for transparency's sake, I was checking to make sure you people could hear me. So it seems like you can. We'll find out after if you couldn't. Um, as we're learning through this with you, or you're
Mhm.
learning about it with us. So anyway, which actually brings us into a topic that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, for
The irony.
the irony. Exactly. There's a word that's just been popping up in my head a lot, and when we're talking about mental health and the health of black men in particular, and one area that just keeps coming back in my life is narcissism. And narcissism is, or a narcissist is defined as an extreme self involvement to the degree that it makes a person ignore the needs of those around them. Um, I, as many other people, I mean, you just know it because it's palpable. You feel that we're more divided than we've ever been. Um, if people are around you, there's a sense of entitlement and selfishness that we hadn't seen in a very long time. And I believe that this all comes from the arrival of Donald Trump. That's just my thoughts. Those are my thoughts.
All right, I'm gonna play counter. Not necessarily that I believe it, but I am gonna play counter because it's something that I can picture people say.
Hmm.
Um, Based on that, what is the difference between that and just putting yourself first and being driven to greatness?
Being driven to greatness doesn't necessarily mean you are at a point where you ignore the needs of those around you. Driven to greatness can just be yourself motivating position, how you're going to stick your head, put your feet in the dirt and move forward in anything that you're going to do. That's fantastic. A narcissist will destroy anybody around them. They will put others down in order to lift themselves up. That's what I feel like the difference is.
I think what the definition, the wording that the definition lacks is it should say at the I don't and it might have said it. I might have missed it. At the
At the
expense of.
expense of,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You ignore the needs of those around them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, when it's at the expense of others, not
Mhm.
only are you just putting your own needs 1st,
Mhm.
but you are kind of pushing others' needs, like making their situations worse.
Yeah. And
While you're just being while you're just being selfish.
why you're just being selfish.
And it's the neglect, and you're not even realizing it. Or do you realize it? Are
The-
you aware?
The person that's the narcissist?
Yeah, are they aware that they're doing it?
That's an excellent question. That's an excellent question because
And I guarantee you, like at some point in my
That's-
life, whether it's somebody I broke up with or somebody I made mad or somebody I pissed off, somebody in my life has called me a narcissist at some point, whether it be to my face or behind my back. No, so it's not even like I'm taking it personally. I'm just like, to them, I probably was. Doesn't mean
do
that I
you
was.
you're right. Do you think you may have been at that time?
No,
Given
I just
whatever
think maybe they weren't that important to me.
That's my cousin, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah,
That doesn't make me a narcissist.
That doesn't make you a
It just
narcissist,
makes me
man.
not important.
It's
to me.
just that the
Like,
situation's not as important.
One of the things, and this is kind of going to be a tangent, but one of the things that's always kind of gnawed at the back of my psyche is younger me, when you would break up with somebody or like decide that you didn't want to date someone or whatever it was, you would get the like, I don't deserve this, or I'm better than this, or the whatever, and like, but to me, no, you're not. To me, you're getting exactly what you
deserve. Yeah, that's what you put out. That's what you get
Right.
back.
So like, this is what you did. Now
Mm-hmm.
maybe maybe to you you didn't do something to deserve it. And I'm not saying if I did you completely dirty, but I'm saying we just didn't work out,
Sure.
or I wasn't that interested, or whatever it was. Like, not every time you don't get your way is it something against you. Like, when I always, one of the things I'll use is the common denominator, and probably that's the math guy in me. But I'm like, what is the common denominator? At some point, when multiple bad situations or multiple people interact with you a certain way, at what point is it not them coming at you anymore? It's you being the asshole.
Let's take for instance. I know there's this piano teacher, and
Don't do
he
this.
attempted to
Don't do this to me.
he attempted to teach a lot of people piano, and we don't have to state who that person is, but they attempted to teach a lot of people piano,
I hate you.
and none of those people play.
No,
None of those people,
I don't. But I
whether
don't.
they're here or whether they've passed on or what their extent is, of the at least 8 to 10 people
Yeah,
that were given those lessons, nobody played.
yeah. I mean, I'll
But
go there with you.
but that one person who taught those people doesn't have a clue that it's them and the common denominator, and they feel it's those other 8 people.
And when they hear this, they're probably still gonna think it's not them.
I think
Yeah, that's the
exactly.
wild part. And I don't even mean it to be funny.
No,
I
no.
mean, I think one will admit that although I may be more truthful than others and might be willing to say the tough things to people, I think that's kind of my role within the family, or within my life. I think I think I am respectful of everybody's position within status within family hierarchy. And what I'll say, and in my situation, I can only speak to mine, but specifically to the piano, I can say it was just presented poorly. It was bad timing, and it wasn't even completely their fault for me. It was like a collection of things. They didn't help, but I also wasn't in a headspace where I was even there. I was trying to be in the streets. My mother had recently passed.
Hmm.
I was doing something completely different. I was trying to be everything I wasn't.
So that might apply to a couple other
Right.
people out of those 7,
Right.
but those other 3 or
But in
4 or
others, yeah.
5, yeah, it's like they didn't learn.
But I think, there's an interesting thing because I think about, that person. Um and I have a lot of respect for who that person is and the role they played in my life.
Hmm.
I think, part of why I don't have, although that person does have an accent and they kind of joke about it, but I don't have a thick regional accent, um, or in how I speak.
And
I
how we
think
speak and enunciate
it's
our
partly
that person.
because he made me think about what
Sure.
I was saying and how I was presenting
Hmm.
myself and what have you. And so but it's also in a way where it's pushed to the point where whenever I'm around them, I'll actually bring it up. I speak this way because of you.
Hmm.
And it's so it's endearing, but it's also maybe you went too far. But I think where the problem also comes is there's that respect barrier that we have as people of color, that because you are older than me, I can't tell you how I feel.
I dare to say it's because I always, for me, I always refer back to the Matrix. We can't free a mind after a certain age.
Hmm.
Um, there are some people that, even though they're older than you can speak to them, and
Hmm.
they can get to
Yes,
that
there are.
point.
Yeah, there are.
There are those.
Yeah, there are.
This individual I is not one of those.
Yeah, I will say there's a group um that I think when I look at and I try to be more aware of it, because because you're living through it. So you
Mhm.
always want to be, and I think everybody wants to be a better version of their parents or what's before them or whatever.
Sure, you hope.
And so one of the things that I want to be better at is respecting people where they are. As you get older, I want to respect you and
Hmm.
treat you differently in accordance with your age,
Hmm.
because I look at elders in certain areas and I think they stop seeing you after a certain age. Like you may grow and you may have kids and you may be whatever,
And they're
but
still
they're
gonna see
still
you as
looking
that
at you. They're seeing, and I'll liken it to, and this might make it sad, but like whenever I dream about my mother, I dream of her
at that
absolutely. My
age.
mother is never aged from that age. Every single one is that same age.
That's not sad. That's again
Yeah,
Matrix. It's that
yeah,
memory you have. That's that last
yeah.
visual memory that you have. That's
And it's like, but and I think like despite all of us being alive, I think that's where they see you. They just stop
yeah.
seeing you, and so they're not realizing. And I've certainly had to push back on some
Hmm.
where it's like, listen, like I'm a like
Grown
it's and but
as
and it's less
man.
about me. Like I can't say that I've ever done it where I've like stood up for myself.
No,
It's but it's like, this is my wife or these are
yeah.
my children.
Hmm.
Like where I'm standing up for them, not for like,
I got
hey,
you.
look at me. Like my relationship with you will never change, no matter
Hmm.
who it is. Like, everybody has family members that they see differently, don't like, do like,
Sure.
whatever. But in my like that won't change. Like there's nothing you can do to change that really. But you're going to respect everything
The
around us. You're going to
situation that
respect
they,
my
yes,
status
yes.
within my family.
Why? Because you've earned it.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the respect comes in. It's a matter of there's that respect that we give you because of age,
Hmm.
but there's also got to be that respect that you've earned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that
We don't give either.
no, no, we do. Um, but then this thing of narcissism, and this is now here's another slight to it, and then and then we can move on. Um, I had to check myself in doing my own self analysis because I found that I was attracting narcissists.
Oh, okay.
So I had to say, what is it about me that I'm
Yeah.
giving that
Yeah.
is is making myself a target?
Yeah.
Um, there was a woman that told me, and I may have said this on the show, that she told me we were just hanging out on my third shift, and she was a guest, and we were having this conversation. I had said to her, I said, "Yeah, and I'm an empath." So I said, I really, when you, because again, that narcissist that knows they are is never going to let you know right in the beginning.
Yeah.
They're going to put up a facade.
Yeah.
They're going to put up, they're going to put up a facade, and so once you do find out, it's like, oh, this is what I'm caught up in. This young lady said, narcissists devour empaths.
Mm.
Narcissists devour empaths for dinner. And I just said, oh
Mm.
my God. I said, that's a really heavy statement. She said, it's true. And I didn't realize that it was true. And then I said, well, maybe that's what I'm giving too much of being an empath. And people say, oh, I'm going to walk all over that. I'm going to take advantage of
Yeah.
that because that works for me. And so it's like I just, I backed up from a couple of relationships, went to my self-analysis mode. And so yeah, that's why that word came up. And
That actually might be the extreme ends of the spectrum.
mhm.
Like narcissist,
Empath.
empath,
Yes,
and
yeah.
then everybody else fits somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Because I'm certainly, I at least looking at myself, I am not either of those.
Hmm.
But if I were going to draw a line, I'm probably more on this side than on that side. I'm probably closer to narcissist
Then empath?
than empath.
Really?
Yeah, probably. But it depends. Like, and maybe it all balances out because, like, in areas where it's people who matter to me, I am a total empath. But everybody else, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, I am not going to have feelings regarding like my interaction with a stranger or somebody that's not a friend or whatever. Like, I'm just like, I'm completely immune to it. There's gonna be
But
whereas like
there's nothing narcissistic about I'm making the stance. There's nothing narcissistic what you did about speaking to the kids at classical
no,
about the game.
but I care about those kids.
I know you were just going to make my point for me. And I know you've done other things for classical. We don't have to speak on it right now.
Yeah,
I know you've done other things behind the scene for classical
yeah. They fall into the category of so the category of like people or things I care
that you
about
care about.
is just
Okay.
big.
I got you. I got you.
But outside of that, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people outside of that. A lot
Facts.
of people fall into that category. I will say you start probably in the more care about than not.
Hmm.
I think on average, there are certain people who just look at them and I'm just like, yeah, you're there. But
Yeah.
all in all, because I like to believe that especially up to a certain age, you're inherently good. Like there's hope for you.
Mm,
And so young people in particular, I try to, you never realize the impression or the impact you have on certain people. And so, I always want people to have somewhat of a fond memory of me. And that's it.
yeah.
You just treat people with respect. They'll respect you back. There's no reason. People are more angry, or like you're just living here. And I think the fact that I've lived a lot of places is why I present it this way. And maybe that's why I am this way. But because I'm just like people here are so mad.
I literally had this conversation less than 2
mad.
days ago. I was like, the thing about coming back here is everyone's angry.
Yeah, all the time.
The
For no
way
reason.
people are driving, coming down a road, it's a narrow road. This person wants to come at you speeding. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, whoa, what's going on? We're both trying to get through here. Why are you angry? I don't even know you. We're trying to both work through this situation. Everybody is angry.
Yeah. And it was an adjustment at first to come back to, but I think you get used to it and you just be you. And it works.
But you just be you, you
Yeah.
said. Yeah, you
Just be
don't
you.
acclimate to it.
Yeah, no. You just be you.
That's what keeps us different. Yeah.
That's it.
Hmm.
That's all that matters to me, at least. Yeah.
But yeah, that was my little blurb for mental health, man. Narcissism.
All right. Let's see. What else has been going on? We have
Jonathan Majors versus Trump.
yeah. Okay, you wanted to talk about that one.
No, I'm you put that out.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like of the cuz. So I was randomly having a thought. Right, like this was a random moment. I think I was watching something Marvel related.
Okay.
Probably get sued for saying their name. I hear they come for people for real. Disney don't play. The mouse don't play. Um, and he's learned that. But it's like, we just elected someone who has done basically the same thing and more.
And more.
And he lost a life changing role playing a villain. Playing a villain, a super villain.
Yeah.
He's actually supposed to be the super bad
Yeah.
of the movie, of this series.
He was lined up.
to be the super bad.
Yeah.
It was built around him because he
Yes.
is such a talented actor.
Mhm.
Like, regardless of anything he's done, that's not one of like, man, I think people are bad at being able to compartmentalize what people say and do from each other. Like, you can be a terrible person. OJ can be a murderer. OJ can also be dead, but OJ can also have been an amazing running back. Like, all things can be
Could have
true.
been a good grandfather.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't, one has nothing to do with the
Mhm.
other.
Mhm.
And so, and looking at, he was a villain. He was supposed to be a villain, and he will probably never work again.
You don't think at all?
Now, look at Nate Washington.
Look who?
Nate Washington. He had a good career run. He was in a few movies. What was the swim movie? I think he was in that. He was in a few movies, but then he got in trouble. He was exonerated. There was like a rape case or something. He was exonerated, and he hasn't worked since. He made his own movie.
Yes. About the birth of a nation, right?
Yes.
Yes. Is his name Nate Washington?
I think so. Nate something.
Nate something. Yeah.
Yeah. And I am sorry if I'm naming the wrong person.
Great
But
Debaters.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was his breakout movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never really. He has not done a mainstream movie since all that went down.
Yeah.
And so I don't think Jonathan Majors is going to be any different. I mean, we're depriving ourselves of great actors.
And he was found not guilty.
Yeah.
And the one in office was found guilty.
The one what?
In office? About to take office?
Civil, not criminally. Civil.
Those 30 counts were all
Yeah,
civil.
I think they're still lingering. I think some are still lingering. But he has
I
not
thought he was
been
found guilty
I
on
don't
all
think
of them.
he has been found guilty of any sexual crimes. So I don't want to put that out there irresponsibly.
So you say that versus well, I mean, it's obvious what we
Right.
what
I'm
will
just saying,
allow,
wild.
what we
This is
will
wild.
allow, and what we will not allow.
But
Period.
it was us and it was really
Us who tore him
attacked
down?
for both. We
Well,
support
yeah.
one, and like we were against Jonathan Majors.
Well, the video didn't help.
It sure didn't.
of him running
It
away
sure did.
from a white woman.
He was running away. She was like, I didn't see. I know
He
that
didn't. He wasn't chasing her.
she was chasing
She was
him.
chasing him. So we hold on to
So
him for that.
there was more. I'm not saying he did or didn't. Like
No,
it's irrelevant. That's not what I'm
no,
talking
that's
about.
not it. That's
What
not
I'm
it at all.
talking about
The
is
end
just the
result.
results.
Yeah.
The end results.
Mhm.
Like, according to the court of law, here, like, what's the difference? Where are we? This is the wild situation, and I think it's kind of relating to, you see, what was it, in Columbus, Ohio? There was a march, like a neo-Nazi group had a march.
Recently,
Yeah, and all of this division is getting empowered, and because this is, and I don't know where I heard this, and I don't know if I've said this here before, but mediocre white men are fighting for power. They have existed and they have run the world forever. They have been better than, at least better than everybody. And Barack Obama like symbolically represented the closing, the narrowing of that gap.
hmm
And that symbol created people recognizing, oh shit, like this is coming. And so now we have to fight back.
he's not the only
And Donald
one
Trump became the symbol
of fighting back.
of mediocre white men fighting back.
hmm
Like they're fighting against everybody else. Now, mediocre white men have convinced poor white men and rich white men, this is better for all of, like, I believe in you. I support you. I love you.
I will follow you
Right.
till the ends.
Right. I will fight for you. I am going to keep
Yes.
this world the world you know.
hmm
And so that's what this has been. And who was it? Lord Jamar said, hey, I was just get him in, get him out. Like I voted for him because this is the fastest way. He'll keep running otherwise. This is the fastest way to get rid of him. And I do believe there are people who voted for him with that in mind. Like, okay, look, I'm tired of him.
They're the
Like,
numbskulls that really feel
it,
because he had said just 4 years and he's
yep.
not running again. But what he's going to do in those 4 years, there won't be elections anymore.
Yeah.
There, or if the, who said it? I think it was Bill Maher. He said if they're going to be elections, they're going to be phony elections like
Yeah.
Russia.
He's gonna try. I do think like there are certain degrees because of the people who really have the power, they are going to recognize like he's not even doing them any favors, and he's starting to show that via his cabinet appointments. There's just a certain group. And that group is small, and that group is taking their stance. And it's up to everybody else to just keep fighting back.
Look at the little games he's already playing, man. This seems so minuscule, but yeah, again, it's not. RFK Jr.
Mm-hmm.
out somewhere, some interview talking about the president eating too much McDonald's,
Yep.
talking about how bad it is, it's dangerous to the president. What does he do? Makes him pose for a picture holding McDonald's. You playing that type of games with the man you just appointed.
Yes, because it makes it my life is better because of it. Like I'm willing to push everything aside. We hold ourselves to a different standard. And at least this is gonna go into at least they have an idea where they're going. Like right now, what's happening is the two parties. And if you listen to this, also make sure you listen to the radio station itself, because I actually talk about politics. I have a small segment, but it is the, the wild thing about it is there's going to be a division. So you have this new Republican, and this new Republican is kind of, we'll just call it the MAGA Republican. But you have regular old classic the Republicans we knew our whole lives. And now you have within the Democratic Party, you have real liberals. Like those of us who are out there saying like being better is not enough. Like not being them is not enough. And you have those who just want to feel good about themselves and whatever. And they're not necessarily there or the fiscally conservative, socially liberal bunch or whatever. Like that group and the Republican spinoff are coming closer together. And eventually that's going to provide money for a party. for a third party, because there's so much room now between the two parties, or at least what the parties try to do.
Okay.
And either people are going to take the parties back, or there's going to be a third party that forms. One of those two things has to happen at some point.
It hasn't yet, man.
Yeah, but it never got like that. Like, Obama was the catalyst, and Trump is the response to that catalyst.
I mean, didn't we try it with the Green Party?
Never had money behind it. The way,
True.
like, if parts of the current parties just come
Libertarians.
together, like, it's never been that. It's always been an offshoot that never really, like, just
And
people
that's
who
why I
can
don't
fit
think we'll
other
get a
places.
solid third party.
Then we're just going to take the parties back. They'll just come back to the normal. Like, what is
Do the
considered.
Democrats have what it takes to take something back?
The Democrats can do it. Like, if somebody has, I assume I am not the smartest person in the world. And so a lot of ideas that I have, I assume there is somebody within the party like that is involved, has this idea. Because what happened, you know, you look at the elections and where we've gone wrong. And the two times that, like, it went, the two times actually that Trump won were the two times that, like, the party said, here is a candidate. Like, there's gonna be no, like, forget a primary, forget everything else. Here is a candidate. And I feel like
And that's just how we were giving her too.
yes,
Here,
yes.
stuff down
But
the
the same
throat.
thing happened with Hillary. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when Bernie Bros really started to come out and, like, started to gain traction, that was when the party said, Bernie, you're not really fitting this. Like, you weren't supposed to be this guy.
Yeah.
And so it was like, here's Hillary.
Yeah.
And so, like, and it's just coincidence. I don't know if it's coincidence, but it's, you know, it happens to be two times women have run. But I think there are people that people would like to see. You know, I certainly, you know, I think of is it the governor of Michigan? Um, is that Tulsi Gabbard? Um, and also you know, Gary Newsom.
Yes.
There are, you
That's
know,
why I
there are
would. Yes.
certainly, you know, there are certainly, you know, some candidates out there that I would have actually liked to see, you know, compete for it.
Gretchen
Because
Whitmer.
yes,
Gretchen Whitmer. Yeah.
yes, Whitner, that's who it was. Sorry. I knew there was a G. It was the Gretchen part that was throwing me. Sorry. But anyway, like, I think there are, like, those two are people that I would have liked to see
Absolutely.
run.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think people, you know, I think if we were to use that as an opportunity for, you know, America to make that choice versus telling us who's going to run and then telling us to get excited about it.
And then forcing celebrities down our throat to
Right.
get it. And again, that plays to the simple mindedness that you think that that's all we need.
Right. You can call Trump crazy or whatever all you want, but yeah, he beat everybody.
Yeah.
He won.
And I forget who I saw. Yeah, he did. And he won the popular vote too.
Yeah, he won.
But he was wise enough, or the people around him were wise enough that he didn't get all the big celebrities, but he went to the podcast. He went to the Rogans.
Yep.
He went to, you know, the new stars.
Yeah.
And I
Mm.
don't think she did things quite like he did.
So going social for a minute, what are your thoughts on Joe Rogan? Like, just, it's a random sidebar, like, because I like, look, he has the largest podcast on the planet. He got in it, like, he was the first big podcaster, and he is the gold standard. Everybody can strive to be Joe Rogan at this point in the podcast world. So, like, to again, multiple things can be true.
Yes. I don't listen to his show often enough to have a really solid opinion on him. Yeah, he was put in that position. He had buku bucks thrown at him, so he could pave the way and do it any way he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting rewarded to do that.
I feel like he gives a voice to, or at least, like, I don't think Joe Rogan is racist. I don't. I think Joe Rogan is too comfortable because he has black friends that, you know, are open-minded and they know him. enough to be able to say he's not racist, so he probably gets away with certain things,
Yes.
but he is too comfortable.
And that's the difference between him and Gary Owen.
Yes.
With Gary Owen, who had a black wife,
Right.
mixed children, and he still doesn't get comfortable.
Right. He knows, like, and it's not because he's not comfortable. Like, he's probably more comfortable around us,
But
but
he's not
but
comfortable to be N
because he just
word,
knows
and he
better.
knows better.
Because he just knows better. Like, he's part of the culture, so he knows what that word means. And it's not like him saying it because he can't. It's him saying it because he knows he shouldn't.
Mhm.
There's a difference.
And that's the difference
Right.
between him and yeah.
Like, you don't say words just, but it's not a matter of can or can't. You don't teach your kids like you can't say the N-word because it's a bad word. You say that you can't say the N-word because that is a word that has meaning behind it.
That's that's what we do.
Right.
For them, it's don't say it because it's a bad word.
Right. I'm saying that's what they should be learning.
You're absolutely right.
That's what they
It should be
learning.
taught, and we need to have. We need going deeper on it. We need to have that respect for ourselves as well.
Mhm.
Which got us. We had this conversation before about the N word, and we have to take it on. Okay, we can't be calling each other that because brothers died over that. They got hung from trees over
Mhm.
that, being called that. And so it should mean more to us.
Absolutely.
Like other words mean more to other cultures and other religions.
Absolutely.
We should have that self-awareness about.
All right. So last topic, we'll take it a little bit light.
Mhm.
You know, my office is right, downtown Providence. And so you see a lot of interesting things and a lot of arguments. And one spawned the thought of when an insecure person and an ex and a I mean not an insecure, when an introverted person and an extroverted person come together. I used to think it was a man woman thing at one point, and I realized it's not a man woman thing. It's more of an introvert extrovert thing. And it's interesting to watch because it's, you know, the whole expression introvert or extrovert, people use them for all different things, but it's a matter of where you get your energy. Like, do you get your energy from being around people or do you get your energy from being
Self.
like by yourself? And I am an extrovert and kind of like run my life around it. But I also feel like introverts don't appreciate, like, you don't have to be like me. I don't have to be like you. You just have to be okay with me being me, and I'm okay with you being you. So it doesn't mean we can't do things together, or it doesn't mean it's not okay for us to do things apart.
Yes, but oftentimes that introvert also comes with feelings of insecurity.
Right. And so it pulls you in
And
to say, like, well, you want to go out with your friends, but we never spend time together.
yeah,
And please, sometimes for the sake of loved ones, sometimes we are having a conversation and it's a general conversation where we're just kind of pulling in perspective. Please don't at me. So it's, I think it's one of those things where you're kind of pulling the other side in.
hmm,
And I will say the introvert tends to win more often in life. When I see it, the introvert tends to win. There was something I wish I remember what it was, but there was something I was watching on TV where this guy was like, he wanted his wife to just be around him more, and was like, you always have to go out, you always have to do this, you always want to, you stay at work late, or you want to go and do this or whatever. Like, why do you always have to do stuff without me? I want to be together. Like, why can't we do these things together? Why can't you just stay home with me or whatever? And it's like, she was like, well, like, you don't like doing these things, I'm not going to make you do these things. Like, why am I going to
but
make
I'm
you
not going to stop doing
right
these things.
when I know that, like, you've told me you don't like doing these things, so I'm not going to make you, but I want to do them.
Hmm.
So like, this is me just trying to do them. Like, I don't have a problem with whatever. um so it's a very interesting dynamic. I will say I'm glad I am not young in the dating world. I see, like, how it is. I know what I was like. Like, you're like, drama is not just first, like, when people when in 10-15 years, when like people go to get jobs, it is going to be interesting what we let go.
Yeah.
because there is
Yeah.
so much more stuff available.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, should I add what Black Planet? Like people don't. There are people now who don't even know what Black
No, I
Planet
don't even know.
is,
Mm-mm.
and
What,
being on Black Planet was a big deal. And that was before, for you youngins, if any of you youngins listen, that was before MySpace. If you
that's why I was
youngins
gonna
don't
go with
even know
MySpace.
MySpace,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it was Black Planet. Then there became Black Planet was the first, and then there was like I think the same company built a bunch of them, and they went like it was like Asian Ave, like Mi Gente, like a whole bunch of them. Well, Black Planet was the goat. It started with Black Planet. I would love to find those people and have a conversation with them. I wonder what they see, like what their thought of like looking at Facebook.
I'm still at the place. I'm sorry. I'm still at the place of the extrovert wins.
Yeah, I know. I just went on a tangent,
No, 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 no. But that's it's leaving me very. You're right.
but it depends because sometimes the extrovert doesn't win. Actually, like a lot when the extrovert, I mean the introvert wins. Sometimes the introvert doesn't win, and more often than not, that is when people break up. Like when the extrovert stands on business, they tend to become the bad guy or girl.
Yeah, because they're doing too much and
Right.
they're doing everything. I guess the question becomes: does the introvert want to be an introvert, or does the introvert secretly wish they could be like the extrovert?
No, I think the introvert wants to be the introvert. I don't think they want to be. I mean, they might like admire certain qualities, but I think introverts, like deep down, like if they all of a sudden took on those qualities and went, they would be able to do it on the outside, but like in their soul, they wouldn't enjoy doing it. So I think they want
I think
those
it's
qualities.
easier for the extrovert to be an introvert rather than an introvert be an extrovert.
Probably,
And so I think that's why
or at
there's
least to
more
pretend to
conflict,
be.
at least pretend
To
to be
pretend
or
to
to
be.
get by. Yeah.
To,
And I think that's where the conflict comes in for the introvert.
yeah, definitely to
Yeah.
pretend to be.
I mean, because we both can be extroverts, but I think at the same time we both can be introverts. We
Yeah.
both can go back to the house and sit in the corner and
Yep.
meditate and do what you got to do. Hey, leave me alone right
Yep.
now.
Absolutely. I
That's yeah.
certainly enjoy my time.
Hmm.
But I would say I am more like I do enjoy just like kind of being out. Like even if I'm sitting in the house too long, I'll just get up and go be like, I gotta go for a ride. I
Sure.
gotta go do something like
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Like it's just I'm just one of those people.
Hmm.
Like I will, but I'm the kind of person, especially at this point in life, like I'm the kind of person who will go out just to sit by myself and make fun of people. Like I'm not sitting there trying to hang out or
All
anything.
right.
Like that part bores me.
Yeah. I'm just people watching,
Right.
and it gives me
Yeah.
such pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I want to be out to do that.
Hmm.
Like yeah, I couldn't imagine. I was actually watching a TikTok dance the other day, and I was like, "Man, dude, like, do people do those in the club? Like, what is dancing in the is the dancing in the club still, just kind of whatever, doing your thing, or like, are people doing
I
full
believe
on
you told me
choreographed TikTok
on this
dances?"
show that's showing my age because I said something about not dancing in the clubs anymore.
Hmm.
You said you show your age.
Hmm.
I think it's ridiculous. I don't care what age you are. Dance. You're supposed to be dancing.
Nah, that was never me. It was never me. I mean, I would dance like dancing was like I went out like with a purpose, and so if I danced, it was because I liked you, like, and it was long enough to get a phone number.
Now, don't get me wrong. I was the brother that danced with a woman and showcased her.
Mm.
You get people that are out there dancing, they're gonna show you what they
Yeah,
do
nah,
and they're gonna practice their
no,
move. If I'm dancing, I'm gonna make her look like the center
nope,
of attention.
nope. I danced with a mission to get your phone number.
And
Like
that's
to
my
to
mission.
let you know that I was interested and long enough for you to put your number on a piece of paper and then eventually in my telephone. Once we got to that point in
Once you got to the
technology.
point, that's right. If we put it on paper, we didn't even
Yep.
have phones.
Yep. Started with paper, then got the little
Yeah.
little handheld pager. Thought I was cutting edge with the little flip up
Yeah.
handheld pager, then went to the cell phone. But either way, it was always the same mission.
Yes, sir.
That was just me. And like I admired. That's actually kind of speaking to the admire thing. Um, like I admired people, being in college. So like white guys went out to have fun, to get drunk and have fun. And if they happened to like hook up or whatever, like it was cool too. Otherwise, that was it. But all right, what you got going on? Cuz any final words?
Um, Just working. Happy to be working. Happy to be staying busy. And yeah, that's what I got going on right now.
No doubt. Quiet is good. Like, the other day I did yard work all in one day. Yard work. Well, I put up the Christmas lights, did the leaves in the backyard, power washed the deck, power washed the cars, and cooked dinner all in one day. Yo, that was Sunday. Today is Wednesday. I still feel it. And so I'm old.
And cook dinner.
I'm old. And cook dinner. Yep. Yep. I'm old.
You know what? You're right.
I started this thing where like I will cook on Sunday. I will cook something on Sunday that will last
For the week.
at least 3 nights.
Yep.
Like
That's that old school. That's that old school.
that's kind of my thing,
Mhm.
to contribute to the house. And actually, in a conversation would like to have, I heard an interesting kind of conversation about partnership and how it was like the wife's partner, like in that partnership both parts are equal. The being at home part, the stuff you do at home is equal, and I think we've gotten away from that perspective, but that's a whole nother.
I'll be another
We'll save
episode.
that for the
Yeah,
next show.
we'll
But
come
yeah,
back at
i
that.
i cooked something on Sunday. Did a meatloaf last week, did a lasagna the week before, did a meatloaf before that. The second meatloaf came by request, and then this week I did the ziti chicken broccoli.
You getting requests on Sundays?
Yes, I will ask. I will ask at the start, at either on Saturday or like Sunday. Actually, at some point in Saturday, I will say, "All right, what do we want for the week?" And they will, pick something. I picked broccoli ziti because I knew it's my daughter's favorite dish, and so I knew that was something that both kids would eat. But I do that, and then I fry a bunch of chicken breasts. That is Sunday. That pretty much gets us through. Like the meatloaf, we got tired of it, so we kind of were done with it on Thursday, on Wednesday. But for the most part, like it gets us through to Thursday.
Good,
So
good,
good.
good.
Right. Well, love you,
I love
cuz.
you
Be
back.
good.
And I'm gonna come down there for them chicken wings next time. I want some of this cooking.
No doubt. All right, everybody. If nobody has told you, love you.
Love y'all.